Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 113 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jeanette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Braden.
And in this episode, we talk about the board games, Detective Club, Ponzi Scheme, Dune Imperium, and Merchant's Cove, and so much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. Would you rather be a hobbit or an elf for a day? What is the first thing you would do?
A hobbit or an elf? I'm going to have to say an elf because I don't like halflings.
Oh, well, or you could be a hobbit and the first thing is shave your feet.
Or I guess hobbits, but yeah, shave your feet, stomp around.
Wait, am I getting it confused with halflings? Like, do hobbits have hairy feet?
I think halflings are basically hobbits that just think that hobbits were copyrighted or trademarked or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because D&D, it's halfling, but they basically are the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I love elves. That's pretty much one of the main character races that I pick when we play.
Yeah. I guess, do you want to be tall or short?
Tall.
I think I would. I think I'd go with the tall myself as well. So elf.
I don't really want to be tall, I guess. Because I like playing like slender characters that are shorter than average because I like to play rogues. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like a dexterous type of class.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of halfling hobbits are kind of rogues, you know.
That's fair. They are.
They're sneaky.
They are.
But I get what you're saying. As far as being slender, like in the middle of coronavirus, you got to go with the slender.
Oh, I guess we are talking about real life.
I'm turned into a halfling is what's happening.
And say for a day. Is that what she said?
Oh, was it just a day? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's fine.
I don't know. Either way, I would probably pick an elf just because it's the type of class or race that I always, lean towards in like fantasy. So I'm going to go with elf. Not that there's anything wrong with hobbits, but.
No, actually, I'm going to go with the hobbit because, and here's my reasoning. They're more homey. They're all about comfort.
And eating food.
That's right. Yeah, if it's just for a day, okay. That's all right.
That's what I think. I don't remember the question 100%, but
elves are too cold and aloof.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll go with the homey.
I want pointy ears. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us on this episode of the podcast. As always, we're going to talk about some board games, but before we do so, we're going to talk about some things we've been up to since last episode, and we'll start with let's start with me, actually. I bought something that I'm half not proud of, but half proud of. It's a pedometer cheating device.
What?
You take your phone and you strap it upright with a rubber band to this thing, and it just sits there and rocks your phone back and forth permanently because there's a magnet on the bottom, and you plug this thing in and it powers the magnet, and you push the phone so it starts rocking.
Right.
And as the magnet passes by the other magnet, it propels it, because it's powered.
Right. Okay. It's one of those physics engines. Sure.
Yeah, correct. I bought it for Pokemon Go.
Are you serious? That Pokemon cares how much you're walking?
Well, the whole game's about that, right? So in the game, when you have the app open, it uses your GPS to know your distance that you moved and how many steps you've taken from your pedometer, right?
Right.
A while back, since the last time I played it, which was 2016, up until, now, they added an adventure sync into the game, which means that you can have the app closed. And what happens is the next time you open your app, it reads your pedometer on your phone, and it's like, okay, you walked 3,000 steps. So here's your 3,000 steps worth of whatever. And so in the game, you can incubate eggs. And as each egg has so many kilometers you have to walk before they hatch. And that's how you can hatch eggs without actually leaving your house. And more importantly, though, this is I didn't really care about that too much, to be honest with you. But the reason I did this was specifically because if you make a Pokemon your buddy, then each Pokemon has so many kilometers you have to walk while it's your buddy to get a candy. And you use candy to evolve them or power them up. So some of the Pokemon that you don't see very often, or it's hard to come by or whatever, you're never really going to find more of them to get the candy, because every time you catch a Pokemon, like say you catch Charmander, he's going to give you 3 Charmander candies.
That's one I've actually heard of before.
Right. That's why I went for the earlier ones. So you'll get 3 Charmander candies. You can also transfer Charmander to the game, which is basically deleting it, you know, and it gives you a candy, because you don't need 1,500 Charmanders, because each one has like a stat range, like 1, 2, 3, or 4 star. And so like if you want to keep like your 3s and 4s, you don't get many 4s, but you want to keep your 3s and whatever 4s you do get. And then you trade in all the other ones for candy. And then you use this candy. It takes like 25, I think, or maybe it's 50 to make it Charmeleon. And then, you know, it takes another 100 to make it Charizard. That's how evolution happens in Pokemon Go, rather than the original Pokemon games where they kind of evolve on their own based on some kind of criteria.
Okay.
Well, and on top of that, you can also use these like berries when you capture them out in the wild to give you double the candy. So the max candy you can ever get from one capture is 7. You get 6 for capturing it and then 1 for trading it in.
This is how I evolve myself as well. I just haven't actually gotten to that level. I'm still working.
So much candy.
I'm eating a lot of candy though. I am.
Yeah, Halloween's great. There's a Magikarp, you know, character, Pokemon, that requires 400 in order to evolve. But if Magikarp's never showing up because they only show up near water, and usually like they're in certain events, like not all the Pokemon are always available, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And so I bought this thing specifically to make I want to collect all the Pokemon in the game, right?
Right,
and
but you need the candy for it.
You need the candy. And so I'll take a character, I'll equip it as my buddy, I'll put it on the pedometer overnight. You'll get like, most time it's like between 1 and 3 kilometers will give you a candy, depending on the Pokemon. Like Magikarp's only 1 kilometer. So every kilometer you walk, you'll get a candy. And
how far can you magnetically walk in a night?
I can magnetically walk about 7.5K in 1 hour. So I get a lot of candy throughout the night. But like characters like Mewtwo, who's like a legendary, requires it to move 20 kilometers before it gives you 1 candy. And you can only get Mewtwo's from raids. So like in order to power it up, when I say power it up, they have a combat rating, like 900 or whatever. My Mewtwo's like 3147 or something.
Okay.
And he can go all the way up to a maximum of almost 4200 or so. And that would take forever. So I'm not going to walk halfway around the world or like around the world like 8 times just to be able to get enough candy to evolve this. And I'm not going to go spend the time to go do 50 million raids, because the raids always cycle out. There's only like a handful of Pokemon that are available at the raids. In these raids, you have to like go drive somewhere and do it, which obviously I'm not trying to say I'm going to cheat and defeat the purpose of the game, because I'm still doing all that. I'm just circumventing like all the tedious grind that I don't care about. You're circumventing
all of the health benefits as well.
No, I still do it though. That's what I'm saying. Like when we go out and we play, we walk around and all that stuff. But my point is, if I were to do it the normal amount of time I'm doing it each day, or like throughout the week, not each day.
Yeah.
It would take me like 75 years to be able to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? So that's just not, I love the game and I'm not going to quit playing it or not have characters and stuff powered up because of that. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly.
You're going to have to leave it to your kids and be like,
yeah, right. Inherited my cave. You must complete what I started. Now I will say that you can get rare candies, which are like wild candies. You get them from just visiting Pokestops. So it's not like I have to only get Mewtwo candy from raids by, you know, capturing more Mewtwo's or walking with them. I can also use the rare candies that I find too.
Right.
I'm just trying to take something that might take me a year and a half and do it in like 6 months. You know what I mean? It's a great cheat device, but it's not, you know, it's not going to like pay to win or something. I guess kind of is.
I see. I can understand. It's just, the game is asking too much of you, really.
Yes. Yeah. I like what it's doing and I'm having a lot of fun, and I am doing the game in spirit because we are going around all over the place and doing these raids and all that stuff, but I can't do all that extra work to get those things.
You could. You're just not dedicated enough. Like,
oh God.
Like, for
I have
example,
kids. That's the problem.
You know, Leonardo da Vinci, they said that he would sleep for 20 minutes every 4 hours.
Why?
Because it shaves like 18 years off of how much you sleep during your life. He had way more time to do things than other people.
Interesting. So he wouldn't sleep throughout the night. He would just sleep every 4 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not healthy. Like, how long did he
you get
live?
an extra 18 years of non-sleep, but maybe it's not very good quality.
Alexa, how old was Leonardo da Vinci?
Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2nd, 1519 at the age of 67.
I mean, he could have like slept normally and lived to maybe 80.
Maybe so.
I don't know what he died of, but you know, Alexa,
yeah.
What did Leonardo da Vinci die from?
Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2nd, 1519 at the age of 67. However, I don't know his cause of death.
Oh.
Well, interesting.
Lack of sleep.
That's what it is now. All right. So the other things I've been up to is I got my Icaion, which I found out is pronounced Icaion. I'm still going to say Ikai because AI sounds like I to me.
Right. How did you find out the actual pronunciation?
I typed it in, like how to pronounce this. And there was somebody who, you know, like Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia, but like dictionary.com, how to actually pronounce his words and stuff.
All right. So is the name of that game based on some,
I have no clue.
Okay.
I don't even know how I don't even know if it's an actual word, but either way, I got on upstartboardgamer.com and purchased the Icaion Kickstarter. And this guy is awesome. I mean, he shipped it to me pretty quickly. It was a very, very reasonable price. When I say reasonable, I mean that I actually think that in the end, it was cheaper for me to buy it from him than the Kickstarter. Now, obviously, number one, not every Kickstarter is going to be in his hands. So
right.
it is a gamble. You don't just wait until this guy gets them, right? But I think I paid $144, and on the Kickstarter, it was $120, and that's not including shipping. So my shipping was only $16, and I'm pretty sure the other shipping was like $25 on the campaign.
Plus, this is a hard to find game, so I'm sure it's gone up everywhere else you look.
Oh yeah. I mean, you go to eBay and things like that. People are wanting $200 and such. I mean, the cheapest is like $160. Either way, I got this cheaper. I'm sure if I looked around, I found some used copies or whatever, open copies on eBay for cheaper, but like $15 cheaper. This is a fully sealed Kickstarter, and it came with the Aberration miniature, which is not what on eBay it's coming with them. So very, very happy. I've already opened it up. I'm very excited. I want to get this to the table physically. So
yeah, great game.
I backed the
not short.
randomly, huh?
Not a short game, but great.
Not a short game. I think it'll be shorter. On Tom Vassel's review, he said that the time frame is accurate. I was like, whoa, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah. Okay.
Now I will say that we played this at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's very possible that we're faster digitally now. So if we played it again, we might be able to speed things up.
I bet that's true. Yeah.
I backed the Vault Wars Relic Roadshow expansion, which was hilarious because I just randomly was laying in bed one night waiting for Theron to fall asleep. And I clicked a link on Facebook from Floodgate Games or whatever, and it takes me to it. And I was like, oh, I accidentally hit back, and it like basically do your thumbprint and bam, you bought it, right? Because it's on my phone. I was like, oh, I know, it's only $16, and that's with shipping, right? So I was like, click.
That's so funny. And you didn't even know the game.
Huh?
You didn't even know did you know the game Vault Wars before that?
Oh yeah, I love Vault Wars.
Okay, yeah, it is a great game, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I love Vault Wars. I'm
backing this one too, yeah.
Yeah. This is Vault Wars, I think, was on our top 20 of all time. It was my number 21.
Oh, okay.
So it almost squeaked in there in the top 20, but it's my 21
Gotcha.
number. So, but I didn't know anything about the expansion. I didn't even look at the campaign. I just backed it. So I didn't even know what I was getting, honestly, but I didn't even care. I liked it so much, which is funny because George was like, Tim, you won the playmat. You
did. Congrats. Yeah.
I don't know if you were more surprised that I won it or that I actually backed a Kickstarter. That's good stuff.
I was pretty surprised to see your name there. I was like, what is happening? And then I was thinking it should have been me.
That would have been cool if you won as well at some point.
Right?
Because they gave away like what, 2 of them a day?
They're still giving away some more. I still have a chance.
That is true.
If you're listening to this, the name is George Braden.
And you actually have a pretty good chance because I think right now there's only, and by the time this episode airs, I think the Kickstarter's over, but to think there's only 540 people. That's a good odds.
Oh, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, that's good odds.
I got this.
And crazier, it actually would have been better odds the earlier on that you kickstarted it.
Yeah, well, you might have kickstarted it immediately. I don't really know.
Nope, I kickstarted the night before when you...
Oh, jeez.
Because I kind of forgot that it launched, right? Because I didn't have notifications on for that campaign.
Right, yeah. Well, you don't back enough Kickstarters. They don't notify you. They know you're not going to do it.
Well, no, they send me emails, but I never really read them because I'm not backing Kickstarters actively. And on top of that, I don't really open the app on my phone so much, but I'm starting to more and more, which is kind of the reason why I back this. But anyway, lastly, we'll talk about it just a little bit, but we're probably going to go in more details next episode. But we downloaded the Outriders demo, played it a little bit.
Yes.
Yep. I actually did play it for about 30 minutes, by the way.
Okay.
I downloaded
more than
it,
I did, probably.
Installed it. No, I didn't get to the character class thing.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah,
I'm still doing all the tutorial stuff. Yeah.
We're doing that after the show. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we are going to play this after the show, and we'll probably talk about it next episode. But if you're interested in more of that conversation stuff, Stephen Gibson, who we're going to be playing this with, he was on last episode 112, talking about all kinds of video games. He's the art director of Arcane Wonders. So definitely check that episode out. It was really fun to record and have him on.
Yeah, great guy.
But I did text him and I said, all caps, I put no jump, uninstalled. Because you can't jump in the game. I was very disappointed by this.
I was too, yeah. I was really irritated by it.
But I will say this, as I was playing it and listening to it, I was like, wow, this gives me some weird vibes. So I start looking it up because I've watched some videos, but I have not dove too much into this. But I didn't know that they actually are the same team that made Bulletstorm, which, number one, this game plays a lot like. And Bulletstorm was
not familiar.
Amazing. I don't care what anybody else says. It's a very, very good game with a 3-year-old, or no, more like a 10-year-old who wrote the script. Maybe 13. Let's say 13 because they cuss a lot. But I mean,
yeah, I noticed that in this one too. Like, it's a bit.
It has a lot more cussing. Yeah, it has a lot more cussing than you would expect. Times that by about 40, and add just like potty humor to it and very childish humor, and that's the whole script of Bulletstorm. I love the game a lot. Like, I like playing it and everything. The whole game was super good, but oh my God, the script, the text and everything they're using was trash.
I thought this was made by the same people that made Destiny.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, people are just comparing it to Destiny because of the aesthetic.
Okay, I can see that. All right.
So what you been up to, George, since last week?
Well, played through the prologue of Outrider. Also, I have received a couple games. I got not played yet because they're games that are going to require, I don't know, more gamery groups. I've got Danger Park from Story Machine Games, which is a game in which you are competing to build a roller coaster theme park, and everything is breaking, everything is going wrong. You're sending different kinds of plagues into each other's parks. It's sort of like unfair. But it's, I don't know, it doesn't have the same feel to me. It's a bit more indie than that game. It appealed to me for some reason where Unfair did not. So I'll give it a try and see what I think. And then, by the same company, Story Machine Games, is a game called Sacred Rights, which I'm very excited about, but I need a group to play it. And this is one where it's one of those, there's a hidden intruder kinds of games, and everyone knows something except one person doesn't know. And then you're trying to find out who the intruder is. So it's very similar to Chameleon. It's very similar to Spyfall, Fake Artist in New York, that kind of thing. But the theme of it is you're a cult and you have your sacred rites that you're coming together to do your sacred rite. And so everyone knows this particular word, and the word might be tornadoes, right? And one person doesn't know that. And then you hand out these things that say things like food or clothing or smell or color. And then when it's you can go at any time. There's no turn order. Everybody has to go at some point. And you say, the blank of our sacred right is whatever, and you make it up. So if you say, the clothing of our sacred right, and then you say is a scarf thrown across your neck, whatever. Like if that's tornado-y to you, I don't know. But, but it has to be something that everybody else will be like, okay, they know it's a tornado.
Like the animal of our sacred right is a cow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you were lucky enough to get animal and the thing was tornado. Yeah, absolutely. So, but the thing is, when somebody says that, then the whole group says, a cow all together, which is hilarious. Like, because you're all acting like a cult. And then at the end, you have to figure out who it is that doesn't know what they're talking about. But there's no discussion. It's not like a debate. It's just everyone does their thing, and then you point. That's the voting. That's it. So it moves really quick, and you don't have to be that good at faking people out because you're not actually trying to defend yourself, and you don't have people accusing you in your face.
Right. That sounds pretty cool. I wonder if we can do that on Tabletop Simulator.
Absolutely. Somebody make that on Tabletop Simulator, please.
I mean, what all do you need?
Well, you need a bunch of cards that have the words on them, but that you could make that, and then you need a bunch of cards that have what your piece is, like could be clothing or smell or animal or like whatever.
We could totally just make that. We can concoct it together.
People. But I will say, I'm very glad to have the game because the components. They're gorgeous. Like you would think it's a cult, and so it's going to be like kind of dark and like not for a family kind of thing. But actually they went in sort of a pastel kind of spring sort of, picture to it. Like it's a nice sacred right, but you don't have to play it that way. But the thing is, it could be a family game. It's very enjoyable art, and the components are really nice. So I would say definitely pick this one up. It's not an expensive one. It's just a fun game.
That's cool.
Fun idea anyway. I can't wait to play. So I got those, and then I ordered from
Upstart Board Gamer.
Upstart Board Gamer, yes. And I picked up a game called Samsara, which is a very light, quick deck building game with great art. So really, it's the art.
Has it came yet?
No, he only sends things out on Wednesdays, and so it should be arriving anytime.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. We're not affiliated with this guy. I just randomly found him when I bought Icaion, but I highly recommend it. If you missed out on a Kickstarter and you don't want to deal with the people like eBay sellers and stuff, and you want a solid, like a product that's still sealed, check it out. What was it? Upstart. Yeah, it's just upstartboardgamer.com.
Right. And I was happy to find this one. Sure. And then I did kickstart one. I've only kickstarted it for $1 so far, but I'll probably go in on the pledge manager. I do that a lot. This one is called Human Punishment: The Beginning. And we talked about it before. It's the sort of Battlestar Galactica killer. We'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah. But there are some other Kickstarters that are upcoming that I want to mention really quickly that I'm really pretty excited about. One is going to be not on Kickstarter, but on GameFound, I understand, which is the Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition. And if you haven't picked up this game yet, my God, this is one of the best games in my collection. I can't remember 5 for sure.
Was that your top 5?
It might be my top 1. It might be like top 3. I don't know. I love this game. I love it to death. One of my absolute top games, Robinson Crusoe, Adventure on the Cursed Island. And there's an expansion coming with this. So it's not just a collector's edition. If you already have everything, you still are interested in this because they have the adventure book, which has a bunch of scenarios.
Can you get that separately, or do you know?
Yes, you can. You can just kickstart all the stuff that you don't have yourself. They also have something I don't think is necessary whatsoever. It's a bunch of minis. I don't care.
I saw the pictures of those.
I mean, people who like minis, okay, sure, whatever. But why would you need them in this game? I have no idea. I'm probably.
Where do they go? Because that doesn't really move around. I guess you could use the miniatures instead of those little wooden circles.
Yeah, but then what? Do you get 2 miniatures? And then I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's fine. People who like minis will probably be real excited about that. For me, it's the book with all the scenarios. There's 20 new scenarios.
Maybe it's half the miniature, half his body, and the other.
Maybe you stack
the
it
other
up.
half is the other time.
And the other thing is they're making an app, and the app is going to have Robinson Crusoe kinds of sound effects, and it'll have 300 more cards that are just digital copies, I guess. I hope they do this the right way, not the way they did with First Martians. It could be great. Could be a great thing. So, yeah, Robinson Crusoe, that's one of my top ones. So excited. Another one is Root, Marauder expansion, and this is on Kickstarter now. And it allows for 2-player Root games. It's specifically designed for 2-player, but it also adds a faction for AI games. And just to add to your games, there are all these factions. So with every one of the new content, all the different races in Root, or I guess animal types in Root, there's now a faction that can be added to any game that has sort of special rules and things going on with it. So that is really going to expand the Root universe. I wonder if they're going to add all of this content into the Root app as well.
Oh yeah, more than likely.
Because that app is fantastic. So if you like Root, definitely check out Root Marauders.
When you say the app, you talking about the game, like where you can play Root?
Yeah, like on your phone. Yeah, it's a computerized version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they will add it in. Maybe they have. I don't even know. I haven't played it in forever. But another one that is very exciting, and especially if you play Root or want to play it 2-player. Then there is Everdell Newleaf. Everdell, anything Everdell, I'm all about that. So this is such an exciting month for me. So many great expansions coming out.
And the Everdell Collector's Edition.
The Collector's Edition, yeah. So another chance to get all of Everdell, people. And maybe there'll be a massive box that you can get to put everything in. I don't know. Yeah. I hope so.
Maybe I'll wait it good enough, because I always thought about picking up Everdell, but everybody owned it. So it's like, what am I going to do with my copy?
Yeah.
But if I get the collector's, collection or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be 2 separate Kickstarters. We just heard about this stuff today. We're recording this on a Thursday before the post.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming by the time this is actually went live, then I'm sure that more details from the Everdell stuff has came out. But yes. I don't know if Everdell Newleaf is a separate Kickstarter than the Collector's Edition, or if it's all together. It probably is the same.
Probably so. What I do know is that it adds a few things, one of them being a train station. And our friend James said that it has to go on the right side. They needed something for the right side of the board. Now they already have something for the left and the top. So it probably goes over on the right side of the board, and there'll be a train station, and it brings in visitors to your town. And I'm not quite sure how they work, but I don't care. I'm excited.
It does sound pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that all that was pretty much the news items we had, other than you said something about ransom notes. Do you have one?
Oh, that's right. Thanks. Yeah, that was one, another Kickstarter that I'm interested in. And it's a very simple concept where you have a question, and then you answer the question using those magnetic pieces that you make poetry out of on your refrigerator. Right? So in the game, you get a bunch of those. So you can use them to make poetry on your refrigerator, obviously. But in the game, you get 4 little magnetic pieces that you can then, pads, that you can then stick your answer on. So, if I can find the example, maybe this might take me a second, but the game, it strikes me very much like another game that I like a whole lot, which is a game called Stinker. And that's a game in which you get a question that could be anything, like, what do robots dream of? Or, some stupid question. Who knows? But then you have to answer it using in Stinker, you have to answer it by spelling things out with all the letters that you have at your disposal at that moment. And depending on your creativity and what you can come up with, it can be really funny. So this is going to be like that, but the words are already formed for you. And so you just have to put them together in a funny way. And so if you like that kind of thing, I think this is going to be a really good one.
He's looking up an example.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you it's funny, and it's not until I actually find something funny. So, do you have anything else while I'm finding this, Tim?
Well, if you want to support the show, let's just do that real quick. Jump over to MeepleCore.com and click the orange link that says Humble Bundle Partner Link. Obviously, Humble Bundle has tons of different bundles that you can purchase. And not only are a percentage of what you pay goes to charity, but you can also put some towards MeepleCore. If it's a cool way to support us, it's just an affiliate link basically. But I love Humble Bundle. It's one of my favorite sites to get games from. And they have a lot of cool stuff here. They have one that's a Stardock games bundle that comes with a lot of cool Stardock games. So for instance, you'll get Fallen Enchantress, Sins of the Solar Empire, The Political Machine 2020, Siege of Centauri, Ashes of the Singularity, Escalation, a bunch of more games. There's a lot of space games, but you get a ton of stuff for $12. They also have, I don't know if it's still active right now. Yeah, here we go. If you ever wanted to play the Fallout bundle, the Fallout RPG, there's an entire Fallout PDF kind of bundle where you can get all the Fallout RPG stuff. It is a ton of stuff, and it only ends up being $18. And it also comes with a ton of STL files, which are 3D printable files. You know, it's like the 3D art. So you can print a lot of the stuff for the game. Really cool stuff. So check out Humble Bundle, but click on our link from MeepleCore.com. And also, if you want to check out patreon.com/MeepleCore and maybe toss some money our way, that way you can as well. Or if you want to send us an email at meeplecore@gmail.com. It's always fun to get email from people. But, it's not like we get tons of it, but pretty cool stuff. So if you have any questions, do that. Anyway, back to you, George.
Yeah, so I found Ransom Notes. This one just asks a bunch of questions to you, or just gives you a prompt, and it'll say something like, write an entry on your resume. And then you make your entry with these random words that you get. Or, the example that they have here is tell someone that their fly is open. And the person takes the words and puts together
XYZ.
He puts together, you have quiet accident. We anxious. It's just that kind of dumb humor. Another one is ask a child in the airplane to stop kicking your seat. and they said, young man, why foot enemy? We suffer.
Because you don't have a lot of words.
You don't have any words, so you have to be really creative. Oh, it's so good.
It's funny.
I think I'm going to enjoy this one. So
it's called Ransom Notes.
Sense of humor, it's called Ransom Notes. And it reminds me of the game Stinker, which I absolutely recommend as well.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we got 4 games for you on this episode. We have Detective Club, Ponzi Scheme, Dune Imperium, and Merchant's Cove. So first up, we have Detective Club.
This is a 2018 release. The tagline is, come up with an explanation for your surreal cards to hide your secret role. The designer is Alexander Nevsky, and the artist is M81 Studio. Publisher is iGames.
Which I think is blue-orange in the English release. Anyway, Detective Club basically uses similar cards to games like Dixit, where it's just a bunch of artwork with no words, but it's a bunch of random stuff going on that you're like, what? Right? But it allows you to draw a lot of inspiration or, use it in many different ways. It's not just a bowl of fruit. It's like a bowl of fruit, but all the fruit's in the shape of weapons or something, or whatever.
Something surreal.
Yeah, something surreal. So one player is going to be, I don't know what it's called, technically the clue giver or whatnot.
Sure.
Whatever it's called. The active player. They have a card for every other player in the game, and they're going to write down a word on all those cards except for one. And that one, is it called what's it called? That player.
You're thinking of a fake artist goes to New York and that sort of thing. This one, you don't have to write anything down. You're just going to play a card. No, wait, they do that. I'm so sorry. I was going to say, how would they know the word? Yeah, I'm losing my mind. It is like fake artist goes to New York. Really, that's a clear inspiration. This is like Dixit goes to New York. Yeah, I was thinking of something else for a moment. I'm so sorry. No, it's totally fine. But basically, yeah, you write down like a word like Valiant on all these cards, except for one who's basically the bad guy or whatever, the suspicious player. I don't actually remember what it's called. Conspirator. That's what it was. Yes. Yeah. So that's the conspirator. So every other player is going to get at random one of these cards. So you flip it over and it's either going to say Valiant or you're the conspirator. Yeah. Then the main player, the active player, is going to play one card from their hand face up in slot number 1 of their card little
thing. But basically, you're going to play 2 cards, but there's a little thing that identifies which one you played first.
Yes.
Once you play a card, then it's the next player's turn. It goes around the table, and then everybody plays a second card in the same turn order. And then
the idea is that you're playing a card that in some way shows that thing.
Yes, you're trying to show everybody else that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? This is a Valiant card. Somehow.
In some way, yeah.
And so the main player, after everybody's played 2 cards, basically, the active player is going to say, without anybody revealing their cards, their secret word card, they're going to say, my word that I made up was Valiant. And my first card I played was this one, and here's why. And then it goes through all the players, back to the first player again. Then they say, my card number 2 is this reason, and everybody goes through their card number 2. Then, still, nobody reveals their cards yet. Then all the other players, except for the active player, have a little magnifying glass that they place next to the player who they think is the conspirator. And then everybody reveals their secret identity or whatever, and you either have guessed correctly or you didn't, right? And what happens is, basically, is how points work. I think it's if the conspirator is guessed correctly, like meaning that they get 2 or more guesses on them, then everybody who guessed gets 3 points, who guessed correctly.
Yeah.
If they don't have, like if they have 0 or 1, then the main player, the active player, and the conspirator get 4 and 5 points respectively.
Yes.
And then that's it. You draw more cards or whatnot. You pass the active player to the left, and then they get to be the person for that round. And you're going to play until, depending on the player count, you either go around once or twice.
Yes.
And then that's it. You count up points and you see who wins.
Well, I hate to question you again on the actual rules to the game, considering how far off base I was just a second ago, which is funny because this is the game I brought to the group. Like, I love this game. I'll just give it away right now. But
it has been a couple of weeks though.
Yeah. So when everyone has played out their cards and then the active player says the word and explains why, do they not explain for both of their cards? And then everyone goes around and explains for both of their cards.
No, I think we just did 1 and then 2 because you did it in the order that players had played their cards, so that you can say, now that you've only played your second card like that because I played my second card before you and it was this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you could certainly make that argument. But once everyone has 2 cards out, everyone can see everyone's 2 cards. So you might as well explain.
I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But that's how we did it.
Okay.
Is everybody explained their first card, then everybody explained their second card.
Gotcha. I don't think we need to.
Follows the logical process I think of when people were playing their card. But either way, though, this game was a lot of fun.
Trying to come up with the excuse, trying to make a reason when you've had no idea, but you put down a card and then you find out what the word is, and then you're desperately trying to make it seem like, yeah, of course, that's what I meant. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
If you play this with groups that like to tell stories, like to come up with excuses, yeah, it's really good.
And it works better, I think, when we did the go around once, then go around twice to explain, because it's like, this is my word, Valiant. And then the reason is because this had like a knight dude on it. Kind of looks like a knight to me. Well, we know you aren't lying because you're the main person who made the word up. Then it goes on to like, Eric or something. And he says his thing. And then it goes on to somebody else, maybe me, and I say something and people are like, you're stretching there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then, well, yeah, but I just didn't have a good card for it. And then once I played that and I drew a new card, then this, then it comes back around. It's, I don't know. You can just lie through your teeth in this game.
Yes. And yet you don't have that sort of in your face pressure that you feel in games like Spyfall, where the whole game is just everyone at the table is waiting on you to say something.
Yes.
In this one, you just put down a card and you have a little time and you get to hear what the word is. It's less stressful, I think, than a game like that, but it still has that same delicious feeling.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, obviously it's one of those games where if you are the conspirator and you're sitting right next to the player who made the word.
Oh man. It's rough.
It hurts. However, you can, as the cards go around, you kind of get an idea of what people are playing, and maybe you kind of make a good guess and put a card out that's similar as your second one.
Yeah.
Then when it ends and the main character says, or main player says, my word was tornadoes, to give your example that you gave for another game earlier, then you can be like, all right, well, I'll just make up some kind of crap for the first card, but then the second card actually fits. And then I can say, so, the first one wasn't a very good card, but after I played it, I got one that worked really well.
Yeah. Or you could say the first one that I played, I put down because I didn't want to give it away.
Yeah. You don't want to be too obvious.
Yeah. I knew I could save myself later with this really good card.
Yeah, because you aren't trying to be super obvious, even though that's kind of a hard thing to do, I guess. Unless the clue is really easy. Like one time I said circles. I don't recommend shapes because like every card has shapes.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, you want to be very specific, I think. But you don't want to be too specific because if somebody doesn't have anything, like if you're like sword and like somebody has nothing with any kind of weapon on it,
yeah,
they're in a really big hurt, even though they aren't a conspirator. So
it's an interesting balance. It really is.
It is. And I like the fact that you are you're not really in cahoots with the conspirator as the active player, but you are rooting for them to win because that's how you get the most points.
Right. You don't know who they are yourself because you've shuffled it up. You don't actually know who they are. So you can't directly help, but you absolutely do want them to do well. Yeah.
Yeah. Because just you and him or her get points, which first off, it's 4 and 5 instead of just 3, but then less players also get those points. So it works for your benefit really well.
So you don't want to pick a word and then put out a card that makes it blindingly obvious either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very clever.
If you do have Dixit, you can pretty much just play this game.
Yes.
You don't have to actually own the game to play it. Although I always say this, but if it's a game that's good, I'm going to buy it. I support the publisher, even if it's just a game that you don't, need a ton of components for or whatnot.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. And I would even say that I prefer the art in Detective Club to a lot of the Dixit sets.
It seems like, and I might be wrong because I haven't compared a lot, but I feel like there's more going on in the Detective Club cards than in Dixit.
Yeah, in a lot of the sets, I would say that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. There are some Dixit sets where there's, depending on the artist and everything, not that the art's bad or the art's good, I think, and fun, but I just think there's more things on the cards in Detective Club. So it helps, I think, it actually probably would help with Dixit more too.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah. This is definitely a good one. It's a game that does best with 5 or more people, I will say.
I can see that. Yeah. More people, it kind of, any of those type of fake artist games or Spyfall, like all those games, I think 6 players is like a really golden spot.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one just like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anything else on this one?
It's a game where scoring almost doesn't matter once again. It's one of those, you play until you're done and everyone's going to have a good time.
It is, but I do think the scoring is done well for this type of game.
Yeah. Yeah. It works. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like Telestrations where like, who cares about the score?
Right.
Like I think the score is fair in this game. It's done pretty well where I don't need to remove it at all. I mean, you could play for the points too. So
yeah, this is one of my go-to Dixit kind of games. I really enjoy this one. You're going to have laughs. You're going to have a really lot of fun. If you're the kind of people that like to, like to talk, like to give reasons and try to trick each other, this is a great game.
I enjoy Dixit. I actually think I like this one better. And actually, weirdly enough, I like Fake Artist Goes to New York. I like this one better. Yeah, I do too. I'll agree with you there. Very, very good game. Anyway, check it out. That is Detective Club. So next up on this episode, we have Ponzi Scheme.
Ponzi Scheme. This is a 2015 game. The tagline on BGG is, use funds from your investors to acquire industries, but can you pay them back? And the designer is Jesse Lee, the artist is Chi-Fan Chen, and the publisher is Tasty Minstrel Games.
Tasty Minstrel.
Tasty Minstrel.
So this is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Ponzi scheme. You're playing a guy who's trying to scam everyone else into investing into what you are. I'll pay you $9, but I get $8 back every 3 months or whatever the actual denomination of the time is there, because it only goes up to 5.
Yeah.
So,
but whatever it is, it's going to be bad. You're always going to be paying more.
Yeah, you always, because it's permanent. You're always going to pay that when it happens. So here's how the game works. There's a grid out in the middle that is basically 3x3 cards. There's 3 rows, a 1 row, 2 row, and a 3 row. Those actually have investor cards, I guess, which is how much money you're going to get and how much you have to pay back during certain intervals. So let's say, for instance, one card says 9, right? You're going to get $9 when you take it. It goes on slot 3, which I'll explain in a second. And so basically what that means is every 3 rounds, you're going to have to pay back the value that it shows, which is 8. So you get $9 now, but every 3 rounds you're paying 8. So after 6 rounds, you're already in the hole for that card, right? That's how every bit of these cards work. The values just increase or whatever. You have this hexagon that's in front of you that has an arrow and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when you collect that card that I said that was 9, you're going to place it on the side of the hexagon that has the 3. Once everybody has went through one turn, basically, and you move on to the next round, you're going to turn that hexagon 1 space to the right. And so now the card that you had placed is on the 2 slot. And it's going to keep turning every round until, obviously, if it turns and there's cards there, you have to pay the amounts, and then you have to reposition them back to where they said they would go. Like that one that we're using in the example, it would go back to the slot 3. And so every time this thing dials in 3 rounds, you're going to pay that card and move it 3 spaces.
Brutal.
All right. That's kind of the idea of those cards. So what you're trying to do, though, is stay not broke. Because if you end up having to pay, then you go broke, the game ends, and then you do some scoring, which we'll talk about. So the turns are pretty simple. There are 4 different types of industries. They're like wheat and grain or technology. I don't know. There's 4 different colors, but basically all we care about the colors right now. You're going to take one of those industry tiles. If you do that, then you must draw one of the cards from the row, depending on how many of that industry tile you have. So if you already have 1 blue industry tile and you draft a second one, then you have to draw a card from the second row. And these cards that are out there, those income cards are actually, they're sorted by the amount. So as people take one and a new one comes out, it pushes the other ones around until you have the highest cards on top. Or, well, in this case, it's the bottom of it actually. And then
the third row. Yeah.
The third row. Right. And then the lowest cards on the first row.
Yeah.
So anyway, once you do all that and every player has a chance to do that, then starting with the first player, they're going to choose if they want to make a deal with somebody. And what that deal is they hide some money. We played this digitally, but the game actually comes with this like wallet that you put the money in, the paper money, and you hand it to somebody. So I'm like, George, and you can only make a deal with somebody who has the same industry tiles as you. So you both have to have, like, for instance, a blue tile. Yep. I couldn't trade for George if he didn't have a blue tile. I would hand him this wallet and maybe it has $25 in it. Somebody's going to get this deal, right? There is no pass. What it means is George has the opportunity to take my money and give me his blue industry tile.
Right.
To the public.
When you hand that over, you tell me this is for blue.
Yeah. I'm like, George, for your blue industry tile. And then George looks at it and debates, right? So everybody else only gets to know what industry tile's at stake, not how much is actually in it. And you cannot discuss that.
Yeah.
George either takes the money, gives me the tile, or matches what I had in the envelope and takes my tile. So he basically buys it from me
for the same price.
So it's this balancing act of how much do I actually put in this envelope if I'm making this deal? But you're either going to gain one or lose one, essentially.
Yeah.
Everybody has a chance to do this once. After all that, there is, everybody dials their little hexagon and you pay your debts or whatever. And then as long as nobody went bankrupt, then you do it all again. Everybody drafts a card, industry tile gets a card, does another trade, pays their debts, keeps going until somebody goes bankrupt. At that point, the game immediately ends and you're going to get points based on the tiles. Now, I forgot to mention one thing. You can only draft one of the industry tiles if it's going to be your first, second, or third. You can get more than that, but you can only get those by buying them from other players. So during scoring, there's a chart that says if you have 5 industry tiles, you get this much, or 5 of the same, you get this much, 1 of the same, 2 of the same, 3 of the same, et cetera, et cetera. And the scoring kind of works like, if you have 4 of one thing, you get 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. If you have 6 of one thing, you get 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. The chart in the book has it all laid out, but that's the math behind it. And then there's a second thing that says how much money you have left over, because money doesn't even matter. It's just the investments in these stocks or whatever they're called. The money, you get points based on like some kind of, from this range to this range type of deal, up till $96 and higher, then you get 4 points. So it's not worth it. Points are money is some points, but it's not worth going after tons of money. So,
but it is just to stay alive. But then again, yes, we'll get to it. Yeah.
And there is a slight advanced rule. Basically, there's 4 tiles that go out, and these are the same ranges that you get points for at the end of the game for your money, but you can buy these tiles, which is just a separate thing. But whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the game. George, what'd you think of this one?
Okay, this game really surprised me when the game was first brought out, and I was being sold on the game. It's purely economic Ponzi scheme. I thought, this is going to be dry. This is going to be terrible. And I'm going to do terrible. And this one really, really took me by surprise with how quick it is. And yet every decision is so momentous and yet so easy. This was just a very smooth play of a game. And it was so full of tension because you knew all the time that you were stretching yourself thinner and thinner. And people didn't know exactly how much money you had. So you could stretch yourself to within $1 of breaking. As long as you just didn't quite break, you could take those kinds of risks. And it's that old line where you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than your slowest friend. Right?
Right, exactly.
You just want somebody else to crash out before you do. And that was amazing. This game really took me by surprise, and I enjoyed it quite a lot.
It grew on me as we were playing. At first, I was like, man, whatever. Let's just play this. And then as I started playing, I'm in. I might actually buy this. This is great.
Yeah.
Because once you find somebody who's going bankrupt and you know it, right? You don't know for sure. You don't know for sure, but you're like, hey, George, you put like something low, like $20 and they give you your tile. You're like, oh, you're screwed. It's like,
yeah,
but maybe you gave them just enough. Like they couldn't afford to buy it, or to pay you money to get yours. So they had to sell theirs, but maybe that was just enough to get them over the threshold of like, bankrupting. And it's great because you look over at somebody else like Eric or whoever is playing, and at the end of this round, when we dial our turn marker 1 space, he's got like 4 cards he has to pay back right then.
He's going to have to pay $200.
Yeah, there's no way you got $200. And he's like, I'm still in. You're like, what?
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. And you're just hoping, oh, can I make it one more round? Just one more round.
Yeah. And I love economic games where money is not victory points. I mean, it is to a degree, but it's like for every a lot of money, it ends up being a very small percentage. I don't like games where it's like you're using victory points throughout the game to get victory points.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And then this isn't like that. It's a nice change.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was just whoever had the most money, I don't think I would like this game much.
And that's very unusual for an economic game where money isn't the end all and be all. Oh, it's good. This game gives me the same feel as a couple other games that are money games that I really like. I don't know if this gave you the same feel as Stockpile. The easy play, and yet it's not all just about money. It is, but at the same time, you have to figure out the other players. Yeah,
I wouldn't have compared it to Stockpile, but I see what you're meaning.
Yeah, you have to sort of read your opponent.
I don't like stock games very much, and I love Stockpile. And this is kind of like the same realm. Like, I don't care for economical games very much. This was really good.
Yeah, this has the same sort of elegance.
I sound like I'm bad with money. I'm not. I just don't care about money for the most part.
Well, I don't know. In terms of board games, you're great with money. You come up with the craziest deals for board games I've ever heard.
Yeah. No, I'm a thrifty person. I'm a treasure hunting person.
Yeah.
Like the difference is I have the money to buy the games I want, but if I can like stock it out for 50% off, that's almost like half of the game to me, right?
It's the thrill of the hunt. Yeah.
It's the thrill of the hunt, right?
This game it has that same elegant feel for me as like modern art,
Okay.
Like it really makes sense. This game just everything clicks. And that decision of, do I pay you and take your piece, or do I just give you the piece for that amount of money? That's amazing.
Really, really good. The components look great. I'm looking forward to playing this. I'm not thrilled about paper money, but the fact that it has this little wallet that you can shove the money in, really, really cool.
Yeah, and there are, obviously you could get other money from somewhere else and substitute.
You can use poker chips or whatever.
Yeah. Those cards, somebody made cards that are money. Yeah,
there was a couple of Kickstarters that did that.
Yeah, that would be good for this.
All right, yep. Anyway, that is Ponzi Scheme. Next up is Dune Imperium.
This is a 2020 game. The tagline is Influence, Intrigue, and Combat in the Universe of Dune. The designer is Paul Denon. The artists are Clay Brooks, Paul Ramos, and Nate Storm. The publisher is Direwolf. There's
a lot of stuff going on in this game. I'm going to kind of brief it in a summary, but basically this game kind of dilutes down to a deck building worker placement game. And the whole idea of this game is you do things to get victory points, but it's more like it's really hard to get victory points. Once somebody gets 10 victory points or more, the game ends at the end of the round. And then whoever actually has the most victory points, because maybe somebody passed you up or whatnot, wins. So that's the idea of the game. You start with a character that has a special power or whatnot, and also this other thing called a discipline, which I'll go over here in a minute. But essentially, you have a deck of cards, just like a deck builder. You're going to draw so many of those. I believe it was 5. And on your turn, that's when you go into like the player turns phase. On your turn, you're going to play a card. That card's going to determine where your worker can be placed on the board, because there's all these different sections that have symbols. For instance, there's a green section, which is basically a green pentagon. There's only 5 spaces there. So if your card actually has a green pentagon, then you can put one of your workers on one of those spaces. Some of those spaces also have further requirements. Maybe you have to pay so much spice or whatnot. Or maybe you have a blue circle and then you can go on some of those spaces. And these spaces are kind of themed, I guess. Like the blue ones are, that's a lot of how you can get guys out into the combat field. The green ones are how you can get some more money and maybe extra guys or whatever. So basically you play a card, you place a worker, you do the worker space that he placed on, and then you're done. It's the next player. They do a card, do the same thing. If it comes back around to you, and you either don't want to play a card to place a worker, or you don't have any workers left, then you go on to what's like, I don't remember what it's actually called, but it's revealing the rest of your hand. All the other cards you have in your hand go face up, and there's a second part of the card that you activate. So you're either going to activate portion of the card because you placed a worker, or you're going to activate the other portion of the card because you revealed it in the reveal phase. In the reveal phase, you're basically going to get money, not spice. These are buying power, essentially, that you can buy new cards from the card row at the top. So many cards are face out. You buy one, it gets a new one flipped over in its spot, much like Ascension and other deck builders like that. You also have some swords or special abilities that might pop up, but the swords are going to add to your combat value. And during the round, when you were playing cards to place workers, you actually get to put these cubes on your garrison, I think it's called, and then you get to move them from the garrison into the battlefield for the combat, because at the beginning of each round, there's a combat card that says like first, second, and third place gets these things, right? And if you win the combat, then obviously you get the first place or second place or whatever. So you get points by moving cubes into the battlefield and by revealing phase and where you have swords. So after all players have played their turn and revealed their cards, you move on to combat. You see who wins the combat, who you give up the rewards, which could be victory point, or it could be getting spice or whatnot. There's also, at that point, you just kind of like do some cleanup stuff. You get all your workers back, you draw new cards, et cetera, and you go again and again and again. The other thing I'll mention before we start talking about the game is there's 4 other sections of the board that are basically worker placement spots, but they're faction specific. So if you're familiar with the Dune universe, you have the Fremen, you have the Bene Gesserit, you have the Spacing Guild, and the Emperor. These are all different sections. Much like if you have like a blue circle on your card, you can go to the blue circle spaces. These are, if you have that faction symbol, you can go to the faction spaces. And when you go to one of those, you move up on the faction track of that faction. And if you go up halfway, you get a point, which is 2 spaces. And if you go up another 2 spaces, you actually get the alliance token from that faction, which gives you a point as well. And if somebody else gets more points than you, they take that token away from you, so you can lose that point. Anyway, that's for the most part. There's one other thing I'll mention. There's intrigue cards that you can collect as well. Those can be played in various ways, such as like to influence the combat power during the combat phase, or maybe you can play one and spend so much spice to get a victory point. And the only other way I think to get victory points are worth mentioning right now is that when you are buying a card, there's also like other cards that are just like, there's piles of them, right? So everybody can buy from that. It's not like a random flip out. You can buy the, is it the Shai Hulud card? I don't remember what it's actually called, but it has the worm on it.
Yep.
And that is like 9, which is really expensive, but it gives you a victory point.
Yeah.
Anyway, you just keep going over and over and over. The game either goes 10 rounds, or if at the end of a round, somebody has 10 or more victory points.
I think that card was called The Spice Must Flow. But,
yeah, you're right. But it had the
it does have Shai Hulud on it, yeah.
Yep. I'll start with this one. It's kind of interesting because 2 episodes ago, I believe, last episode, we interviewed Stephen Gibson from Arcane Wonders. The one before that, I think we actually talked about the Gale Force 9 version of the Dune board game.
Yes.
So we played these really, really close together, and they're nothing alike, obviously. I think thematically, I like the other one better.
Yeah.
Like the theme is here, but I mean, it could be this could essentially be a Game of Thrones board game of all I care.
If you wanted a Game of Thrones board game that also didn't have theme, yes.
The theme is there.
No.
It makes sense if you start looking at it, but if you're not paying really attention to it, it's not there.
No.
So thematically, the game's kind of light, but what I'm saying is you're playing a bunch of mechanisms that don't really, mesh well with theme, but the theme is there if you like Dune. I don't know.
I guess if you really,
the theme isn't necessary,
really
but it is there.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the opposite. I think if you really like Dune, you're disappointed with this theme. It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, if you go to the Emperor, you can get money. If you go to the Spacing Guild, you get like, was it intrigue cards or something? No, I don't know what that one is.
You get the card that allows you to place your worker
space
wherever you want.
Yeah.
Which is way better.
Well, and if you go to,
should the Emperor be less powerful than the Spacing Guild? Thematically,
I don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then some of the other cards, if you play them together, like the voice cards, then if you play it with another Bene Gesserit card, what I'm saying is the theme is there, but it is very light.
I give you that.
And I think you've said it before. It's kind of ugly.
Not the art necessarily. The actual art on the cards is well done. It's just the overall graphic design of the game.
Yeah.
The whole board itself. Yeah, it's a bit ugly. Like, to me, it's ugly. If this is how the new movie is going to be, I think this is based on the new movie that's coming out. Maybe the new movie is ugly. I don't know. But
that would be terrible.
It does not have a good table presence for me.
I agree. I think the graphic design could have been much better. Like, for instance, if somebody like Fantasy Flight had produced this, it would have looked way cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, just the frames on all the cards and all the different worker placement spaces would have just been outlandish.
Yeah.
In a
it's
game
just big blocks of color on the board, on a mostly dark board. Big blocks. It doesn't appeal.
No, I totally agree with you there. It doesn't really, I don't think it's like super ugly. Like, I've seen plenty of ugly games.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't consider this ugly.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's anything special.
I agree. Yeah.
In a world of board games where so many games have put a lot of graphic design presence and stuff to their games, it's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know much about the company that published this. I don't know how big they are. Direwolf?
Yeah, it's Direwolf, but then there's
Oh, they did Clank. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's right. They did Clank. That's right.
You publish Clank and then you make the graphics of this? I don't know about that, guys.
Well, I think you can see the similarity to Clank because you have deck building that's powering something that's happening on a board. That's a similarity to Clank for sure. And yet, I don't like it. I don't like how it does that.
Not a fan, huh?
No, this game had so much hype, or shall I say has so much hype, because it's at 8.5 on Board Game Geek. And I honestly don't get it. I would play the original Dune Avalon Hill over this game. And what bothers me, there's a lot of things that bother me about this game, but it's a good game. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. This is a good game. It doesn't live up to the hype that it's received for me at all.
That's fair. I think, go ahead.
One of the biggest things is the fact that you have deck building whose function is to constrain where you can place your workers. That's simply frustrating.
It can be annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. It's not only are you blocked by other people. If other people go there, you're blocked. Also, if you don't have the cards, you're blocked. So if you like worker placement where you rarely get to go where you want to go, this is your game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of restrictions because you're right. And on top of that, not only, even if you do have the card and no one is on the spot you want, maybe you also need to spend money to go there.
Right.
So it's a very restrictive game in that regard.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun. I actually like this one quite a bit. Here's my problem. I have played Lost Ruins of Arnak. And these games are very similar. They do a lot of similar things where the difference for me, like, I like the art and everything of Lost Ruins better.
Yes.
Although I like the Dune universe better. However, I will say that in Lost Ruins, you're gaining victory points for doing all kinds of stuff. And it's just at the end of the game, whoever's the most victory points.
Right.
After 5 rounds or whatnot. In this one, I don't like the race of trying to get up to 10 victory points. Not that other players can really like do much to go at you if you're in the lead. It's not like Munchkin syndrome.
No.
Which is good. That's a positive for the game.
Yeah, and I actually do like the race aspect. I like games that do that race. I like games like
you don't like the point salady stuff where
No, I like that less actually.
That's fair.
Yeah. Euphoria, Build a Better Dystopia. I really enjoy that that's a race. There's a bunch. I can't think of them right now, but yeah, I do like race games.
I mean, I do have a few that I really like. I mean, the Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah.
And then like Lewis and Clark.
Sunrise City is terrific. That's a race.
But the difference between some of those games, maybe not Oracle, but with Lewis and Clark, it's a race, but you're still racing to like 50 points in your, 50 spaces, and you're only getting like 3 or 4 or 5 spaces at a time. Whereas in this, it's like more like Settlers of Catan.
Root is a race, really.
What is it?
Root.
Because in this game, it's like a very low amount of points. So every point is like 10% of the game,
Yeah. No, it's big. Yeah. And some of those battles are for 2 points. And some of them are for no points. And you don't really have control really over when you happen to have the cards that let you participate in those battles.
Yeah, there's a lot of restriction. I see your point with that. Just because you buy cards and it's nice that you get new cards, but then your deck's kind of diluted.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to get rid of cards, but.
Right. And those influence cards are massively swingy.
The influence, you mean the intrigue cards?
Intrigue, yes.
Yes. I actually like those quite a bit. but they are,
if I get 2 money and you get 3 battle power, that you're going to do better than I am.
Yeah, because the battle could be for like $6.
Or 40% of your victory points.
Well, 20%. 20%.
All right.
Yeah.
Still.
But still, yeah.
And the $2 is for what? Who cares?
I do think it's a great game. I'm not 100% sure if it's a game I'll pursue and buy. I'd like to play it again, though. It was not as long as I expected it to be, or, I expected it to be long, and it ended up not being long in comparison.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up real quick, but the problem is it felt really long.
It doesn't feel like Clank. That's for sure.
It was 2 hours and 11 minutes with 4 players. We only played this one time, but obviously on this podcast, we do more first impressions than actual reviews.
Right.
But I will say that it felt like a 4-hour game, even though it was only 2 hours and 15 minutes, essentially.
It's no Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is a longer game, I think, but feels not long.
Each time I played it, it took us 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel it.
No, absolutely not. But you do feel this game.
Yeah.
So
definitely a distinction there. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
This game is not terrible. It's good, but it's not Arnak. And
that's fair.
And it's not an 8.5 for me.
We're going to have to get more people on the episode and do a Into the Pit. Compare both of those together.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish the theme was stronger. I think the theme is much stronger in the Avalon Hill game.
Oh yeah. I mean, the actual Dune board game is like dripping with theme.
Yeah.
But this one, it's okay. Even the character powers they seem meh.
Right.
Like in theme.
Yes.
Like they're cool powers, but.
Yeah. And I don't know. One of the guys, you get, you start the game with a little bit of extra stuff, and you get to put a guy into a battle, maybe if a certain other thing happens. Okay.
Let's say if you play your card, the ring card, or the discipline card.
Right.
Yeah.
And then another character, you get an extra card every single freaking time. It's just, I don't know. I
don't know how balanced those are.
I question, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. You got anything left to say?
I would play it. I would happily play it. I'm not going to seek it out.
That's fair. I want to try it one more time. Try before I buy, type of thing. It's good. I like it. Maybe I should have played this one first because it is very similar. I mean, I feel like I'm playing, like both of those games are they can be compared pretty well.
Yeah.
Not in theme, but like the style and what's going on and everything. They're very close together because, you play one card, you do something. Both of them have 2 workers that you get.
Yeah, you're right.
And this one, you actually have the choice to get a 3rd worker, but still they're very similar. And I just think the other one edges this one out. So
agreed.
I want to try this one again, but, if you like Dune, I don't even know if I would recommend it based on the fact that Dune is the theme, because the theme is just kind of meh there, It's not as bad as like Mario themed Uno or something, but the theme is there and it makes sense. If you start reading the action spaces and looking at stuff, okay, I can see it, but at the same time, if you had no clue, I don't think the theme's going to bother you either.
Yeah. And I'm not sure the mechanisms are going to grab you. It's got worker placement, it's got deck building, and it's got area control. But do they really,
if you like those things,
do they really help each other out, or do they get in each other's way? I feel that they got in each other's way more than anything else.
That's a fair point, because the worker placement is very, very situational based on if you play a card, if the space hasn't been taken, if you have the money to pay for the space. There's like layers of you can't do this.
Yeah. And
so
some people are going to really get into that. Some people are going to, that's going to be their jam, and that's cool. But I don't like that sort of restriction.
That's fair. That is a very fair point. So anyway, I think we're going to wrap that one up. This is Dune Imperium. And last up on this episode, we have Merchant's Cove.
This is a 2021 release, upcoming. And the BGG tagline is, operate your own specialty goods shop with a unique set of components and mechanisms. The designers are Johnny Pack, Carl Van Ostrand, and Drake Villarreal. The artist is Mihailo Dmitrievsky, and the publisher is Final Frontier Games.
As he said, this game is a Kickstarter game. The Kickstarter's already done, I believe.
Yes.
Or has been done for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And we played it on Tabletop Simulator. I believe it was the official mod for it. So we're going to go with that. Some things could change. I really doubt anything's going to change between now and the actual release. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just going to kind of summarize the game, and then we'll talk about anything specific as we are describing what we like about the game. The whole theme of the game is there's this Merchant's Cove, which is like the island, and all these ships are coming in with customers, and they're going to buy products. Now you have a character board that is vastly different from every other player. And that character, like say you're the alchemist, you're going to be making potions. And maybe you're the player who's the blacksmith. You're going to be making swords and shields and armor. Really what you're doing is making small blue, green, red, and yellow goods or large blue, green, and yellow and red goods. It doesn't matter what the actual theme of your good is because it's just a large red good, right? As far as the customers in the game mechanics go.
Yeah.
There's a couple of phases to the game. There's like a beginning thing where you put out 6 boats out on top and each one gets seated with 2 customers, which are meeples. And these meeples are of those 4 colors, blue, green, red, and yellow. There's also rogues, or thieves. I don't remember what they're called. I think they're called rogues.
Rogues, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are gray. And we'll talk about those in a minute, but there is a card that you start with setup and it determines how many rogues are in the bag and maybe like a special thing happens whenever they get drawn or whatnot. Anyway, then everybody's going to take turns. And so on your turn, your board is kind of like a worker placement thing. You place your miniature on a space, you do the action, and then that's it, right? Each action costs time or maybe some other stuff. And there's a clock on the main board that you're going to move your piece around depending on how much time you spent, right? And sometimes you'll cross thresholds that make you draw a customer from the bag and add it to a boat. And then when a boat is full, then whoever filled it up, the last player who filled it up, right, gets to dock that boat in one of 3 docks, except the left 3 boats can only dock in dock A and B, which the left and the middle. And then the 3 boats on the right can only dock in the middle and the one on the right. And basically these docks are slightly different. The first dock is for large goods. The middle dock is for small goods and the right dock is the black market. It can take large or small goods, but you have to draw corruption cards. Anyway, each player is going to go around and doing an action, move their timepiece around until all 4 of the 6 boats have been docked. At that point, it kind of triggers the end of the round. We'll talk about what happens to the other 2 boats, but those meeples that are left behind on the other 2 boats get moved to like their faction houses. We'll talk about that. But basically that triggers the end of the round. Then you go on to like the market phase where everybody sells all the goods that they've produced to these different docks. You can kind of do this simultaneously, or if you want to turn base it, you can. But basically the points work like this. The small goods are always a fixed price. So a small red is always a specific price. I don't remember what the actual prices are right now. But like 4 maybe or 3 or something. Yeah. Like the small goods is like 3 or 4, right? 2 of them are worth 3, like blue and yellow, and the other 2 red and green are worth 4, right? Something like that. And the large goods are the same thing, but it's like 6 and 8.
It is. Yeah.
And if you sell like a large red to the dock that sells large stuff, then you're going to get 6 times the number of red meeples that are there. And so it's benefit to you to get meeples of the same colors to go to the one dock that you have the stuff that you're trying to sell, right? But then other people kind of speculate what you're doing and maybe start building the same type of product to benefit off of what you're doing also, all that jazz. Anyway, after you sell all your stuff and you get the points, which is gold, it's basically just victory points around the track. Then you do some cleanup, then you do it again, and then you're going to do this 3 times. And then at the end of all that, whoever has the most money wins. The only other real thing I'll mention is that each player board is kind of different. Like for instance, the alchemist is when they move around these different action spaces, they are kind of doing a potion explosion type of thing where you have they have marbles in this decanter that you pick the marbles up and they don't really explode like in that, but like if you say blue, you get to pick a blue. I don't even know if there's blue. Yeah, there's blue. Maybe it's red. I know there's red.
There's blue also.
I thought there was blue.
There's red.
Oh, it has to be. Yeah. Cause the colors. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, you say blue, you get to pick all the blue ones, but also the black ones that go in that row. And then you have to put them down in your little brewing, kettles at the bottom. And then you take another action space to actually brew those potions. And that's how you get your potions that you put on your display that you're going to sell. The blacksmith has like dice that they roll, and then they're going to put these dice into different forges, and the forges need to be like a certain value or higher. So you want to put really high dice in the forges that need them to be high, and then low dice in the forges that need to be low. That's kind of how the blacksmith works. The captain has this kind of not really a pickup and delivery. It's more like go pick up and teleport.
Yeah.
You have this little map, in the Merchant's Cove is the middle, and you have these 4 boats that you're going to move around. some of your actions will give you movement points and such, or another action allows you to flick this spinner. Yes, there's a spinner in this game. And this spinner actually lands on a space that allow you to give you movement points and cursed coins and stuff. And when you move the boats around, you will take another action to fish. And that's kind of how you get your small goods. There's another action where you go to the 4 islands on the corners of your board. And that's how you uncover buried treasure. And that's where you get your large goods from. Lastly, at least in the base game, there's the Chronomancer that has like a slight rondel type of thing going on where you have a Chronomancer and the apprentice, and you're going to move them kind of in this rondel. You can go as far as you want, but you stop. It's only like 3 or 4 spaces, and you go through these teleporters, which are your action spaces. And basically the theme of it is you go back in time and collect a relic from the past and bring it back to sell. So that's pretty much how that works out. And, George, tell us some stuff.
All right. Well, once you know how to play this game, it's quick. You have people come in on boats and, they do that 3 times. You sell them stuff and you're done. It's an under an hour game. Can be if everyone knows what they're doing.
I think it took just as long to explain it.
It took longer. It took longer. Yeah. Because everyone, like you said, has a different mini game that they're playing. They're all different. So if you have 4 new players, you have to teach 4 different things before you can actually start the game. Having said that, it is superior to a number of other games possibly that are like that, in that you don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing. You just do your own little thing. They do their thing. You don't really care what they're doing as long as you trust that they don't cheat at board games, right?
Yeah, right.
Or that they don't make mistakes and just do things wrong, right? So there's no policing in this game. You don't really know if what's going on is what's really going on. Hopefully people don't just get the rules wrong and make mistakes as they're playing. But you don't have to be, really checking out what everyone else does. And that makes the game go fast. And that's all you really care about is they're putting a blue potion out and you're going after blue as well. So you're like, all right, cool. Yeah. We're going to try to put blue guys on this boat. We're going to get on blue. Yeah, exactly. Or you hate draft, when you see what somebody else has. Right. Cause maybe you're going for, me and you're going for blue, but somebody else is going for red, but we've already got our boat docked. So we'll start putting meeples of colors they don't need in other boats and docking them first. Yeah. One thing first off, I'll say this. Even though every player has an asymmetrical board, and it is absolutely asymmetrical. Right. The mechanism is completely different. Yeah. One person's doing worker placement, everybody's doing worker placement, but you got all this crazy stuff going on that no one else is doing. That's phenomenal. I really liked that. It was really fun. And it seemed pretty balanced for the most part. Yeah. Except I'll say the Chronomancer was kind of boring in comparison to the other classes, because you don't really have a mini game that you're doing. You're just kind of moving guys in a rondel. Well, I think that is the big problem with this game. I think you hit upon it right away, is that every one of these little mini games at its core is just somewhat meh. They're boring. They're mini games. They're not really full games. So if you want to play a mini game for quite a long time, considering it's a mini game, and then call it a real game once it's all together, that's what you got here. You got the whole is, it's not the sum of its parts, because its parts don't make it that good. Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying, but I think it also depends on the class or the character you're playing, because I felt the Chronomancer was meh to play. I'm not saying balance wise, it worked fine. Right. I was going to say the captain is probably right above it as far as fun. Well, you have a spinner. That's fun. A couple times. Plus it can explode if you get on the right space and you can just keep going. Then right above that, you have the blacksmith, I think, just because it's fun that you're rolling dice, but it can have some luck effect that could really hurt or go in your favor. Yeah. And then you have the alchemist, who is by far, I think, one of the funnest characters to play. I guess. That one probably is the more fun of the mini games, because you don't know, the marbles come out and you're kind of trying to figure out, okay, well, I need to do this and these marbles will drop and I'll go here and maybe I'll do this ability to move these marbles around. Right. There's a little bit more going on. I think it's the most involved. Yeah. And there are others. The Kickstarter had other factions that weren't in the Tabletopia
base game
or Tabletop Simulator base game. Yeah, maybe, but I don't get that feeling. I get the feeling that these are all going to be similarly not satisfying as minigames. And if you really are the kind of person who likes doing dice manipulation and dice worker placement, this isn't going to be enough for you. You might like that, but you'd be better off playing role player.
I don't know. I guess I kind of disagree. I like this game quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games I really want to play when somebody knows how to play it.
Oh, yeah, because the teach is brutal.
The teach is brutal. I mean, teaching the main game isn't that bad. No. The main board. It's just teaching each individual person.
Yeah.
Now, however, what you can do, the game does come with like a rule book and then like a 4-page, like out of a bifold for each player. So you could explain the main game and be like, read your book.
Right. That's true.
But then everybody's sitting around waiting for everybody to read their book.
Yes.
And then somebody has to know how everything works because other players are going to have questions.
Right.
So in the end, is that really going to help you? No, I think this is a better game to play the second time around. Although it was a pretty fast game. I was pretty surprised on how quick it was.
Yeah, I do like that it's fast.
Yeah.
It's fast. It's colorful. It's cheering.
It's good length.
Yeah. It's got the wingspan kind of board where you add cards and then you get to perform all those cards when you do take that action. It's got that kind of wingspan gizmos sideboard.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. There's like these assistants that you can purchase and they go on this assistant board, which has 4 different actions, but you don't actually get, when you do the activate assistance button or worker placement spot, you only get to activate the spots on your board that has assistance. So that ability gets more powerful as the game goes on because, once you get 4 assistants, every time you do that space, you're activating 4 powers basically.
Yeah. And that is the only arc that the game has.
The only arc? You mean from round to round?
Yes. Otherwise, you're doing the same thing over and over.
You are kind of playing the game 3 times, although, you can carry goods over or whatnot. But I think for the most part, you're probably going to sell everything each round.
Nope.
Maybe you would keep one thing.
I would recommend not doing that. Make sure you sell at a good price or you're not going to win.
Well, I came in second. I did something right.
It's true. It's perfectly fine. The game is perfectly fine.
I'm not sure about the price just because it comes with so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because each player
so many
needs
components.
Its own stuff.
You're right. It definitely makes that price go up.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that I will play this game like a bunch of times.
You might, though, if you wanted to play every one of those characters yourself a couple times.
Yeah, but only if I'm playing with the same people. Because then they should know how the other factions kind of operate enough where I can really fastly explain to each player. So
you could get really tired of teaching it.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's not like games like Root, where like Root or Vast, they have really asymmetrical character player powers or whatnot, just like this game. But one, those games don't come with like a ton of different components for each class. It's just, Root's a bunch of cards or whatnot.
Right.
But the difference I was going to say is it's like the same type of teach as that game, except it's actually worse because in Root, every player needs to know how the other characters work too.
You absolutely need to know. You have to balance each other. And that is just exponentially more dreadful in terms of teaching.
Yes. However, that game, I feel like you would play more because it's a direct competitive game. And so it's a game where you play to get good. This is a game that you play for fun. And so I don't know if it really hinders the game to have that much teach.
Well, and I'll agree with you there. And I think with Root, the game itself, the individual games that people are playing, every one of them is so deep that it bears that kind of dedication. This one, they're so light. And I think they're so balanced as to be uninteresting ultimately.
Well, yeah, I can see. I don't know. I still like it. But what I was trying to say is like Root is more of a dudes on the map, competitive, like combat type of game, where I feel like those games warrant playing over and over and over because it's a competitive style game. I think competitive games are specifically driven towards replayability. And I'm not saying this game's not replayable
or competitive.
But it's or competitive. I mean, it could be both, right? But at the same time, it's just not that same type of feeling. I got to play this game once and I don't need to play it again for another 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Then I'll play it again. But with Root, I'm like, man, I need to play this again and like do really good next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those type of games, and maybe it's just my feeling, but I feel like Dudes on the Map games, I need to play the same game over and over to get better at it. And it could just be the miniature wargaming coming out of me with like War Machine and stuff where you're like, I need to play again and again and again. Like a basketball match, right? You just don't play basketball once. You go and play it 50 million times and get good. Whereas I don't feel like Merchant's Cove is a game I'm going to play 50 million times to get good at.
I don't know if the depth is there for you to really get that good at it. But, you know, the game itself is certainly pleasant.
It was good. And it's really pretty to look at. It is neat though that each time you play it, you can essentially play it 4 times, or if you have more of the expansions, and experience the game differently 4 times.
Yes, if that's something valuable to you, this is definitely on your list. Yeah.
Well, cool. I don't know when it comes to retail, but check out Merchant's Cove. You got anything else you want to say?
No, that's it for Merchant's Cove for me.
Fair enough. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I like this one. I'm definitely going to look at it when it actually gets released. I kind of sad that I missed the Kickstarter. We're ending this. This is Merchant's Cove. All right. I guess we're at the end.
Yay.
You got anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I think I said my piece. I'm sure. Send the hate mail to.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to get some hate mail for Dune Imperium. Maybe. I don't know.
And I will for Merchant's Cove as well. Just keep in mind, I don't really like board games. I just like,
he likes party games.
I do. No. I honestly do. I would rather play Ransom Notes.
That's fair. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 113 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on February 25th, 2021. Send us questions and hate mail to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out the video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore. Until next time, this is Tim Jeanette, the Metal Meeple.
George Brayton.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.